What is ooh. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Locked In Sports Podcast. I'm William Locke, and joining me on this Thursday night of the NCAA tournament is Luis Barranco. Luis, how's it going?
What you telling me, big guy? What you telling me, family? What are you telling me?
What am I telling you? I'm telling you Kentucky's in a close one right now against Oakland. We had a good Nevada versus Dayton game. We had, other than that, I mean,
What do you expect?
we had a good Seoul series in Korea, early 5 a.m. starts.
Oh man, I'm ready to cook some people right now. I'm ready to cook. All I know is if Kentucky doesn't win this game, I'm gonna freaking have to go into a dark freaking hole because I'm so sick of Cal. Like, I know you have vetting interest in this game, this Kentucky game, but all I'll say is Coach Calipari for the past 15 years has had loaded rosters, and he just wants to run this platoon crap when he has 2 top 5 draft picks on his team, and Gillingham and Reed Shepard, and he wants to go play other dudes. I'm like, all right, bro, like you can go ahead and do that and tank your tournament chances. All I care about is the Final Four of Kentucky, Purdue, and Illinois. Couldn't care less about anybody else. Those are my picks this year.
Yeah, I don't really care either. None of my teams are in there. Butler lost in the first round of the NIT, and Michigan was one of the worst Power 5 teams in the country. So, and then the Grizzlies suck. So basketball, not really into basketball too much this season.
You should be watching just the scout. Like I know definitely Molnex is definitely doing some scouting right now. Other than that, he's probably covering it. He's probably doing some scouting.
I mean, yeah.
He's probably like, this guy would look good on the Grizzlies,
Yeah.
You want to?
Yeah, I don't know. This Oakland, I have it on in the background. Oakland has this one guy that cannot miss from 3. So I feel like that's always a good recipe for success in March is you just have some random guy that jacks up threes and does not miss.
It's always about the guards, man. It's always about the guards. You got to watch the guards. They got an ex-MSU guard in Rocket Watts, who's a pretty good. Oh crap! He just drilled that bit. Oh my.
Yeah.
But but regardless, this is not a college basketball podcast. I'm trying to finish this in time for the Drake game. I'm trying to see Michigan's next head coach and player and Tucker DeVries. I don't know if you're familiar with them, with their game. With
Drake. My dad went to Drake, so
your dad watching?
It starts at like 10 o'clock, but it'll be on. Yeah, it'll be on in the household for sure.
Yeah, I'm trying to watch the DeVries family go off tonight. I'm telling you, I'm in a mood today. Let's put it this way. I'm gonna just get this out of the way. But this morning our group chat got toxic. All I sent was a meme. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this, but you're familiar with the guy in the background in the dark with the dark hat with the top hat. And he's smoking a cigarette, and it's in black. It's like a cartoon. I don't know if you guys remember that.
I'm pretty sure it's from The Simpsons. Yeah.
I said that, and William went crazy on it. I was happy. I was texting in Japanese. Yanamoto's over. I gotta say, the dude looked like a fucking bum this morning. He looked like a freaking bum this morning. I'll just say
why. But it's one start though. Like
he didn't make it out of one inning. Why are you protecting this man? Just because you have betting interest in your fantasy baseball team?
Well, I just have a hard time believing that the Dodgers would give a dude $325 million and he's just gonna suck. Like he's not gonna suck.
Scouts make mistakes.
There's way more technology.
Arsenal they make mistakes. Look at Arsenal. Look at the Angels. Angels gave Rendon $300 million. Arsenal signed Nicolas Pepe. The Grizzlies signed Chandler Parsons to a max deal. Mistakes happen.
$325 million mistake would be pretty crazy.
The Angels did it. It's just like, dude is a breaking ball pitcher, and when it's not there, he is dog water. And that's what he was this morning. He was absolute dog water. You understand how bad you have to be in your first MLB career start not to get a second inning. Like, you would imagine, like, you would get out of the first inning, he'd get another inning. Like, it wasn't like Mason, what's his guy? Kyle Mueller bat at Yankee Stadium where he gave up 7. The freaking A's manager, Mark Kotsay, gave Kyle Mueller in June at Yankee Stadium at 2:00 in the afternoon. Gave him 7 earned runs. This was levels, and this was a regular season game. I would understand it if it was a playoff game. You pull them after one inning, like the Yankees did back when they played the Twins in the wild card series, where they pulled Severino in game 1, win or go home back in 2017. Yeah, 2017. So
it was a regular season game in Korea, so basically the other side of the world, a week before the rest of the game.
So what you're telling me is like he's like one of these cell phones, like a SIM card cell phone, that the SIM card doesn't work in Korea. Like he doesn't work in Korea. He only is able to pitch. He's geo-locked to pitch in some places. Like,
I'm just saying, like it was really weird circumstances.
What are the weird circumstances? What is your weird?
He was playing on the other side of the world.
He's already pitched on the other side of the world.
But they were just in Arizona getting ready for the season. They fly all the way over to Korea for 2 games in this weird series.
He's geo-locked.
I'm just saying it's one start. Can we like pump the brakes and give him a couple months to adjust?
Did you see
like, are you writing off his entire career because he had one bad start? Yes, I agree. I agree. Like he could not locate any of his breaking stuff. The fastball looked horrible. But I also will say, like Max Muncy, big error that he would have gotten out of the inning with only 3 runs instead, 2-run score after that. So,
but that's the same thing we say the thing about last night at the Padres. Oh, if Jake Cronenworth's glove doesn't go Timu on us, like doesn't go freaking Timu, like it's a closer game. That's what I'm saying. Out of the inning, or how bad the umpiring was yesterday. We haven't talked about how bad the umps were yesterday. They was some dog water calls. Literally, Yu Darvish literally located a perfect ball in the bottom left of the zone on the freaking black, and they called it a ball. And they issued a walk. I can't remember who it was, but it was in like the first or second inning. And then thankfully the next hitter up grounded out to first base, so they got out of the inning. But like we're going to make these excuses for Yamamoto. Oh, 325. Like no. He should be getting the criticism he's supposed. I don't care. Like you were in Korea, you are a major league pitcher. You're getting paid $325 million. You're getting paid ace money to come pitch, and you literally look like garbage. Okay. I'm just saying, and you can be like, oh, but it was weird circumstances. I'm like, bro, there's weird circumstances in Major League Baseball all the freaking time. You can be pitching one weekend in Oakland, and the next weekend you're pitching in Yankee Stadium. So let's stop that. You can be in LA where it's sunny, and then you can be in a freaking dome in Tampa pitching where it's like 70 degrees with winds blowing out, and the balls can be going up to the catwalk.
Okay.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's just like you're just making. Oh, he was in Arizona. I'm like, come on, man.
I'm just saying it's one start. Like, can we give this guy? Like Garrett Cole has bad starts. He won the Cy Young.
But Garrett Cole doesn't get pulled after one inning and has his abominable starts. Like you can see, there's promise with Garrett Cole.
There's also a lack of buildup after a shortened spring training. Yeah, they got there a week earlier before everybody, but it was still kind of a shortened. I don't know. I still think he's going to be good. He might not be ace caliber. He might not be Cy Young caliber. He might not be rookie of the year caliber this year, but I still think his breaking stuff is going to be good enough he can be a solid pitcher in the big leagues. Now, I know that's like, okay, you're paying this guy $325 million. You're not paying him that much money to be okay, but we'll see. We'll see. I understand your concern. I can see the concern, but I just want to pump the brakes. It's one start. Let's give this guy a month or two. Like it happens. Okay. Everyone has a bad start.
You're paying him $325 to be a 3-man or a 4-man starter. I'm like, man, if he's getting paid $325 to be a number 3 or number 4, man, I feel bad for Blake Snell and Jordan Montgomery because they're getting completely underpaid.
Well, Jordan Montgomery hasn't signed yet.
But that's what I'm saying. But we can. That's the number on him is the Aaron Nola deal, which is 7 over 172.
Yeah. What about moving on from Yamamoto? Any other takeaways from the Korea series?
Umpiring was garbage. Very bad strike zone. I don't want to hear that. Oh, it's spring training. I'm like, come on. Like we are professionals here. Like if you screw up at your job or make mistakes at your job, you're not like the quality dips. You need you need to be top quality. And other things is Mookie Betts looks pretty good. He
Yeah,
does
he's a pretty decent baseball player.
like we said, we talked about it. We both talked about it in private off air that he could have a big year. He does not look. The only thing is he doesn't look that good defensively. Not good, but he doesn't look like it's a learning curve defensively.
Yeah. He booted a ball going to his left today. Still made the play at second, but I think like he'll be fine on the routine plays. Maybe charging the ball, he'll be fine. But when he has to move far to his left or to his right, I'll be really curious to see how he makes those plays because it's something that he hasn't had to do yet. Obviously, I mean he has played short, but not over the course of a 162 game season. So there's just wear and tear, man. There's wear and tear.
Probably hasn't played short since Pope John Paul II.
He had a few starts at short last year. He didn't go to Pope John Paul. He went to another. I think he went to Overland in Nashville.
I think he went to John Paul.
No.
I'm looking it up right now because
John Overton High School in
in
Nashville. We actually played there. Obviously, he wasn't there at the time, but we played there against their team in high school. I don't remember if they had like anything Mookie Betts related there, but
they're 2003. They're AAA class AAA. They're in Houston's class.
Okay.
Back in the day, they played their last appearance in the title was in 2005, which they lost to Houston 9-1. So they got wrecked by Matt Cain, probably.
Probably Matt Cain, yeah.
Yeah,
Mookie went 4 for 5, a homer and 6 ribbies today, 6 RBIs in one game, and then 2 for 4 in the first game with a ribby. So he's off to a hot start. Hit a home run, like I said today. It was a bomb, the only one in that series. Machado hit another home run too. So there's 2 home runs. A high scoring game today. I thought both bullpens look kind of shaky, and I'm a little bit worried about the Dodgers defensively. But it's 2 games. Like
you did bring us up. I did like how Glasnow looked yesterday. I did like how he looked yesterday. He's the guy that should be getting at 325.
He didn't.
He should be calling up LAPD for some fraud up there in Dodger Stadium because I feel like we have a bank robbery on the way. And one thing is I did not enjoy, and I did want to bring up I'm trying to stay as PG as possible right now, but I literally cannot stay PG. But ESPN, like literally, why do you have such a fetish and an obsession over star players' wives and girlfriends? Like, why do I need to see Shohei Ohtani's wife every other at-bat? I swear to God, I'm like taking out the sand out of my eyes, eating a freaking bagel, and I literally every other pitch, it's her and her friends.
Like, was she there? She was there.
Yeah, she was there. She was there. Like, bro, leave her alone. Like, she's just out having a good time with the girls. Like, they had been watching her husband play ball. Probably I don't know where she lives. Probably the closest they're gonna get because she probably lives in Japan because she's still pro, right? In basketball.
I think she's retired now.
Still, that's what I'm saying. Like, why do we need it plastered? Like, bro, are we just trying to pull in the Japanese market, like with Taylor Swift or something like that? They're doing some Taylor Swift voodoo. Like, bro, we understand we're trying to grow the game, but it's just like I don't need to see her all the freaking time, like Taylor Swift. Like, I don't need her plastered all over the place.
I was kind of surprised that he went public with it so quickly after the fact, and like posted her and who she was and everything. But it's not.
Well, the thing is like how many years with the Angels? Was it 5 years with the Angels?
Yeah.
He was 5 years.
It might have been 7 years.
He was 7 years.
It was a while.
He was 7 years in Orange County, and then he moves 30 minutes up the road to LA County, and now we have scandal after scandal after scandal after scandal. After we haven't heard anything from this guy, now it's like, oh, his wife's right here. Oh, he got this.
It's not getting married wasn't a scandal. Getting married wasn't a scandal. No. He's much more public. He is certainly like much more in the public eye than he was. Like he was going to Rams games. He has this, posting about his wife, and obviously the story that we're going to get into now, which was not necessarily something that he wanted to get public, like the other things that we were just mentioning. But big story that dropped yesterday afternoon.
eBay.
Yeah, so the Dodgers fired Otani's interpreter, Ippei Mizuhara, right? And obviously he was, Otani's best friend and interpreter. They were together at the hip, since he came over. I think since 2018.
20 no, he's been there. I read they've been friends since like 2011 or 2013. Like
Okay.
they've been buddies. Like, and he's been living in America like for like 25 years or something like that.
Yeah. So he's his interpreter. They've been best friends. They've been locked at the hip for quite some time. He does everything. He did everything for him in terms of like, interacting with teammates, with coaches, with the media and everything. And he was fired on Wednesday afternoon after questions surrounding at least $4.5 million in wire transfers sent from Otani's bank account to a bookmaking operation in Southern California. This was an article posted by Tisha Thompson at ESPN. Mizuhara incurred the gambling debts to that Southern California bookmaking operation, and that the bookmaking operation is under federal investigation. And it's really interesting because on Tuesday, a spokesperson for Ohtani told ESPN the slugger had transferred the funds to cover Mizuhara's gambling debt. I'm reading from the article. The spokesman presented Mizuhara to ESPN for a 90-minute interview Tuesday night, during which Mizuhara laid out his account in great detail. However, as ESPN prepared to publish the story Wednesday, the spokesman disavowed Mizuhara's account and said Ohtani's lawyers would issue a statement. And then the statement read, in the course of responding to recent media inquiries, we discovered that Shohei has been the victim of a massive theft, and we are turning the matter over to the authorities. Read the statement from Burke Brettler, LLP. And then the spokesman declined to answer any further questions, and the statement did not specify whom they believe perpetrated the alleged theft. ESPN reviewed bank information showing Ohtani's name on two different $500,000 payments sent in September and October. The wire transfer payments were sent from Ohtani's account to an associate of Matthew Bauer, the guy that ran the bookmaking operation, according to multiple sources and bank data reviewed by ESPN. Multiple sources, including Mizuhara, told ESPN that Ohtani does not gamble and the funds covered Mizuhara's losses. Sports betting is legal in 40 states, but it's still illegal in California.
All he had to do was just to get on Prize Picks, man. Prize Picks, I know my buddy's on Prize Picks in California. If Prize Picks, you're listening, we could give us a little sponsor for the pod, but all he had to do is that.
Yeah. And then next, where does it say? During the interview Tuesday, arranged by Ohtani's spokesman, Mizuhara, who's 39, told ESPN that he asked Ohtani last year to pay off his gambling debt, which multiple sources said had ballooned to at least $4.5 million. Mizuhara said that he previously had placed bets via DraftKings and assumed the bets through Bauer were legal. And then, he came out and said in the interview Tuesday that Ohtani was helping him cover his debts. And then the next day, he came out and said that basically Ohtani didn't know anything about it. And now there's reports coming out that Ohtani found out about it when Mizuhara addressed the team, the Dodgers, after their game on Wednesday in the clubhouse, basically saying that a bad story was coming out. He's involved. It's true.
Yet there's cameras of Ohtani and Ippei laughing in the clubhouse yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No comment. I refuse to comment on the situation. All I'll say is, I'll just wait for more facts, and I'll say someone likes hitting parlays and likes betting on Cal Poly versus Sac State out there. Money line. Sac State or USC, UCLA games.
And it's important to say, Mizuhara said that he never bet on baseball. He knew that rule. They have had meetings about it in spring training, et cetera, et cetera. MLB players and employees are allowed to bet on sports other than baseball, but not with illegal bookmakers and offshore websites. The league rulebook states that bets placed with illegal bookmakers are subject to punishment at the commissioner's discretion. So I think, and then there's another story that came out today, basically saying reps for Ohtani's reps are asking for an investigation into this theft. the biggest issue I have with this, or the biggest concern right now, if you're Otani, is why did they change up their story? What are they covering up? Now, my take on it is, and this is pure speculation,
I'd rather just
but I
not
think,
speculate. That's why I'm
uh,
not speaking. I refuse to speak. If I speak,
yeah,
I will be Jose Mourinho. If I speak, I am in big trouble.
it is a touchy subject right now. But I think that Otani, his people, when they saw Mizurara go to the media on Tuesday, and he said what he said, and then they kind of realized after the fact, like, oh, yeah, Otani covered up his gambling debts, Mizuhara's gambling debts, paid the 2 payments of 500K. Um, Originally they thought, yeah, that would be fine, no issue. But then maybe they realized, like, oh wait, he just gave 100, or he gave $1 million at least to this, illegal gambling operation, even if it was in good heart, like in good faith to cover his buddy's gambling debts. Like, he's still giving a lot of money to this illegal gambling operation, and his name is associated with it. He can very much get in trouble with that, even if he wasn't doing the gambling himself, which is something that really annoys me. Is like the internet just takes everything and runs with it. Like, they automatically think that Otani has this massive gambling problem, and he was the one putting these bets, and Mizuhara is the fall guy. I'm telling you right now, there's no way that Otani has a massive gambling problem, and there's no way that he was betting on baseball. Like, this is not Pete Rose.
What do you mean? What do you mean? There's no way. I'm not saying it happened, but I'm just saying no way. I mean, there was NFL players betting on NFL games. Calvin Ridley was betting out of the Hard Rock out here, betting on Jaguars and freaking Falcons lines the other year. All I'm saying is, hey, we don't know what they do in their free time. People got weird hobbies and hobbies that we don't need to talk about.
But because Otani, we've seen all these stories of how, like, he wrote out all of his goals when he was in middle school, and he said he wanted to do this baseball-wise, that baseball-wise. He's super dedicated. I just have a hard time believing that he has a massive gambling problem. And there's no way he's betting on, like, Pete Rose he was a manager, and he was betting on his own team's games. Like, there's no way Otani was doing that. Like, people need to chill out. Like, let the facts come out.
How do you think Pete Rose feels right now? Man, all I just needed a best friend just to be like, he has a gambling addiction.
I mean, it's this, like, if what the internet and Twitter is speculating right now is actually true, and Otani was gambling on games, baseball's cooked. I mean, baseball's done. Baseball's biggest star in probably since Barry Bonds, and Barry Bonds was controversial. So, one of the baseball's biggest stars ever, he's massive in the United States, and he's even bigger in Japan. Like, he is worldwide, truly the most famous baseball player we've had in quite some time. If he never can play again because of some gambling problem that comes out of nowhere, like, where does the sport go from here? With all the momentum that MLB has built up.
Let me just say, don't you think that's an issue with legalizing sports betting in the United States?
100,000%.
I'm not, and I don't want to open that can of worms, but but you think like, why are we looking at him and his buddy? Like, bro, it's probably happening on all other sports. Don't you think?
Yes.
Somebody's like cooking the
Yes. And I'm telling you, there's going to be a scandal here coming up in the next few years or so. And there's been a few stories of, like, players getting involved individually. There's going to be a massive scandal that comes out that it affects the integrity of whatever sport it is, and that's when people are going to start losing faith in sports, and they're going to start viewing them as WWE, and that's when it all falls apart. And I saw a good tweet.
What's the problem with WWE? It's great entertainment.
Everyone knows what happens. Like,
nobody knows what happens. I don't know if John Cena is going to come out and jump off the top rope, or if The Rock Johnson's going to come out at SmackDown in Memphis last week. I don't know. Like,
Jeff Israel 25 had a good tweet. He said this morning or last night, he said, "Welcome back to Sports Center, presented by ESPN Bet. For more on the Ohtani situation, we go to our FanDuel MLB insider, Jeff Passan, at our DraftKings studio in Los Angeles, brought to you by Caesars Sportsbook." Jeff, how could something like this happen? I think that sums it up perfectly.
Use code.
It's dangerous. It's becoming to the point where it's dangerous how involved these sports books are with sports.
Use code Showtime for $100 match free bet. We had Ivan Toney in the Premier League, and I still back him.
Yeah, I mean, it's really weird.
Look, we've been 25 minutes talking about just the mastery. It's time to talk about what the people came for, and we're going to talk about the East. The NL East is probably one of the most interesting divisions. I feel like probably one of the hardest to predict divisions because I feel like this year, as much as the cellar dwellers this year are cellar dwellers, I kind of think like they are the most competitive cellar dwellers in all of baseball.
Yeah.
And the fact is, these teams are not afraid to spend, great fan bases, and they travel. So take it away with the first team, the Washington Nationals. Washington Nationals, we're finally seeing their kids. I'm not saying kids, pause. I'm saying like Juan Soto trade beneficiaries and Scherzer and Trey Turner beneficiaries come up through the system. CJ Abrams, who was picked around in the third round of our draft.
I thought he got picked way too high for my liking.
ADP was at 40, and I was like, I saw him, I looked at him, and I was like, I don't want to pick him, but I was about to, but then I talked myself out of it because I thought that was way too high for betting on a guy who had a good 2 months at the end of the season.
Yeah.
And of course, he stuck with Armand. Armand gets bought into the hype, into names. So, there was just better value with O'Neal Cruz later on or Xander Bogaerts, who I'm quite happy with right now. He's right now hitting lead. I expect him to go skilled for 40 this year. Lane Thomas, your annual trade candidate out in the outfield. Jesse Winker, who's right now a non-roster invite. Joey Meneses, the DH, who's decent. They got Joey Gallo just to hit the strikeout quota. Keibert Ruiz.
Hit the strikeout quota.
The catcher, Keibert Ruiz, who they got back from the Scherzer and Trey Turner deal. Nick Senzel, got signed from Cincinnati. Hopefully he gets together. His top draft pick couldn't break the Cincinnati's team that well. Hopefully he can stay healthy. Luis Garcia Jr. and Victor Robles. And in the rotation, there's actually quite a little bit of promise. Josiah Gray was your all-star. He showed signs of continual improvement. Patrick Corbin, who I feel Yankee fans are quite excited that they did not sign him to a 7-year, $146 million contract back in 2018 of December. He's almost done.
Can we say it's a great year for Nationals fans because that is the last year of Corbin's deal. So he's a free agent after this season. They're finally off that money.
Well, I mean, I don't think they regret it because they have a World Series. Do you? If you were to give him a World Series, I'm just saying it just sucks that it was one of the worst qualified starters 2 years ago, and he was a bit decent last year, but he hasn't been good. Mackenzie Gore, they got him back from the Soto trade, and he was really good in spring training right now. And then they got Jake Irvin and Trevor Williams, just some quality arms. And then they got a bunch of like young guys in the pen. Kyle Finnegan showed a little bit of promise as a closer. Tanner Rainey also is there. Jordan Weems, Dylan Fleur, just a bunch of mix and match guys. Sadly, Strasburg's probably not pitching this year because he has thoracic outlet syndrome surgery.
I thought he retired.
He's still
like this weird.
He has TOS.
Like they're like not letting him retire. Or I don't really know the details. So
he's probably just collecting his check, to be honest, and I don't blame him. And they have Cade Cavalli, one of their top prospects, who had Tommy John last in 2023. So I think the big thing for this team is their farm system. Their farm system is pretty loaded. James Wood looking like the regen Adam Dunn out here in spring training. Dylan Cruz, I feel like, we'll probably see both of them up in by July. Then they got Brady House, infielder. He'll be up next year. Cade Cavalli, we're still waiting on him. And then they got the Miami product they drafted last year in the draft, Yohandy Morales. He'll be up soon. But, I mean, all in all, this team's not going to be as bad as last year. They went – how much did they go last year? Oh, crap. Fangraphs took it off.
Yeah, Fangraphs took it off.
Fangraphs took it off. Oh, because the season started 2 days ago.
They went 71 and 91, which was
they won 71. That's not bad.
They finished 12th in average, 12th in stolen bases. Their pitching was horrible, 25th in ERA as a starting unit, 27th in relief pitchers, 30th in Ks per 9 from their relief guys. They weren't good, but they showed signs of improvement last year. I'll be curious to see if they can build upon it. I still like their farm system. Like, even if they maybe regress a little bit this season, I still like Cruz. I think, James Wood is boomer bust, but like, I mean, if it looks like it's booming right now. So he could be good.
Well, all I'll say is this: they look pretty good right now, and like they didn't lose anything. It's just like we need more. I think it's like a win for the season, like we said about the A's. I think it'd be just some continued growth into CJ Abrams. If we can get that average up a couple points up, get him more on the base pass, running around because he's a demon, and see just positive signs from Keibert Ruiz, and just see your two front end arms, Josiah Gray and Mackenzie Gore, become, I don't want to say frontline guys, but solidify themselves as the guys that you want to build around and have as guys for the future in that system. Definitely a team I could see trading. Lane Thomas, I feel he'll be a top bet in the trade market as an outfielder, corner outfielder. And some of their arms, maybe a Kyle Finnegan. He had a decent end last year, closing out games, and definitely Dylan Floro will be a guy that will generate interest in the market. So pretty much we just need to see a little bit of growth.
Yeah, it's all about that youth, developing their youth this year. Davey Martinez is still there.
Who's doing a good job. He's doing a great job,
Joey Gallo is going to strike out a bunch for him, but maybe he'll get back to his home run power. They did lose Carl Edwards Jr., so I don't know if they're going to be able to recover from that.
I mean, it is a bad ballpark, to be honest, or just like a net neutral ballpark, in my opinion.
Yeah. They brought in Eddie Rosario on a minor league deal.
He might be cooked.
Yeah,
they're just throwing guys. I mean, hey, at least they're doing better than the Rockies, who just didn't do anything. They're throwing guys and seeing who hits. I mean, David Martinez is a decent manager. I mean, he's a World Series champion manager, and he's done a good job just developing. I mean, look at CJ Abrams. I feel like that was just a win in itself last year, getting him to improve and Josiah Gray to improve. I feel like if you can get Mackenzie Gore to lower those walks and drop the ERA down and continue to develop, I think, that's a win in itself.
Yeah, so the number's 65.5 for the Nats. Like we said, they won 71 last year.
They'll be bad.
I gotta say, I think there might be some regression with this team this year. 71 was a lot for them. I'm gonna go under. I think they win like 60. Considering I was over on the White Sox, the Rockies, and the A's, I think I have to take this under.
Yeah, they'll be bad. Like the worst teams in baseball, the .TV teams that are just going to be dog water are going to be Colorado, White Sox, Washington, Oakland, and that's pretty much it. Those are your four.
Those are the worst. Yeah, those are the worst for sure.
Like those are your worst because Kansas City you can see get better. AL East is all good. Like I said, they'll be your crappy .TV teams. You're just like throw them on the .TV and just go clean your apartment. Make a souffle, make some pancakes with your girl or something like that. I don't know. Go chill with the dog. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever tickles your pickle. I don't know.
So
they're good background. You know what they are? Background entertainment. They're the type of those four teams. The Nationals are going to be the team. Like it's 10 o'clock. You got people over, and you're having a conversation, and you're playing poker, or you're just doing whatever. Just throw them up. Like they're not gonna make you cause you to stop whatever you're doing and look at what happened because they're not gonna make any like noteworthy plays.
Yeah, they got some youth to watch, but
it's not like, oh babe, Aaron Judge is coming up the bat. Let's watch it.
So are you over or under 65.5?
I said under. This team's gonna be dog water.
Okay.
Like, they're probably the funnest out of the four .TV teams we just noticed. They're probably the best out of the four .TV teams.
I'm riding or dying with the Rockies this year. No, I still think the Nats would be the best out of them. Let's move on. You want to talk about the Marlins
Wait, I thought we
And
were going. Okay, we'll talk. I thought I had the Mets up because we were going in chronological from last
did
year.
the Mets finish? Oh yeah. Okay. You're right. I forgot the
Yeah,
Mets were horrible. Let's
you're
do
not
that. Let's
giving
do the Mets.
respect. Bro, you understand? Miami had Miami Marlins fans for 3 days last season, like 3 freaking days. Like it became a work topic. Like all Miami sports teams, they become work topics when they actually do good. Did we hear anything about the play-in game when the Heat went to the play-in game? You know, I walked into the play-in game for $70 lower bowl out there at KCA Center, aka the American Arena Center, American Airlines Arena for $70, and it was empty versus the Bulls, and they won by like 6. Caruso and Patrick Beverly were laying on a clinic, and Jimmy Butler had to take over to win that game. And it wasn't until they got and beat the Nuggets or they got to the Celtics, it was like, oh, you know, the Miami Heat are in the finals. They're in the Eastern Conference Finals. You know about that? Oh.
Big sports town over there, huh?
Well, 100%. But let's talk about these Mets. Oh, we got breaking news. Yep. JD Martinez just signed with them for a 1-year contract. It says here on Fangraph. I'm not looking
With
at my
who?
phone. With the Mets.
Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
perfect segue.
Okay.
Let's do it.
All right.
Yeah.
You like that,
Hey,
AJ?
hey, the lineup doesn't look awful. I thought the lineup was gonna look like dog water, but I think the podcast, whatever word of the day is dog water. Because I've said that.
You used it about 4 times. Yeah.
Yeah. But man, this team does not look bad. Brandon Nimmo at left.
Okay.
8-year, 100. What was it? 8-year, 200 mil is what he got last offseason.
160.
Something like that. Francisco Lindor, Pete Alonso, which
162 guaranteed. Yeah.
Which I kind of feel like that's the storyline of the year. Pete, Polar Bear Pete, JD at DH, Jeff McNeil at second, aka Mr. Line Drive, can't hit a home run to save his life. Definitely a guy. I don't know. We got to saw his BP at the WBC, and every single ball was just pulled out to us at right field. It was funny as because they would all just like look like they were coming towards us, but they would just like he's the epitome of warning track power.
Yes.
Starling Marte, and then they got their top prospects: Francisco Alvarez, Bet Beatty. And then you got a little Yankee flavor and Harrison Bader at center. Their rotation is Jose Quintana, Luis Severino, Sean Manaea, Adrian Hauser, and Wheeler Miguel. Then their bullpen doesn't look awful. Edwin Diaz, Ottavino, Brooks Raley, Jake Dietman, Sean Reed Foley.
Jorge Lopez.
Yeah. Kodai Senga is still strained his shoulder, hasn't pitched, doesn't look very up. His reports don't look great. And David Peterson had hip surgery. But
top prospect Ronnie Mauricio out for the season with a torn ACL.
But hey, this team doesn't look like you can say the word.
I mean, everything went wrong for them offensively last year. 25th in average, 20th in OBP, 18th in OPS, 20th in runs. You know, guys like Marte, McNeil, had really good 2022s, and they didn't follow it up with good 2023s. Nimmo was okay. Lindor's been consistent for them. He's still solid. Pete Alonso is
he's not living up for the contract. That's the thing. That's the whole debate. We can say the 12-year 325 M's. That's the whole issue, that you're paying a guy for elite defense. But if I wanted elite defense, I'll just call up Andrelton Simmons for $1 million deal, and he'll go to give me some platinum glove defense.
Right.
Why are you rolling your eyes? Because you know it's true. Like
I'm just thinking. I'm thinking like that.
But Andrelton Simmons, you're thinking. All right. But Andrelton Simmons will go play you Gold Glove defense, if not better defense than Lindor.
Yeah, they already have JD Martinez slotted into their DH role here on Fangraphs. It's a good pickup.
They're due for some positive regression.
Yeah,
that's probably it. And the thing about it is, it's not a bad strategy. What they're doing is that they're kind of like rebuilding. Their farm system got reloaded because Jim Crane decided to get his buddy back on the team. So I mean, and Justin Verlander. So I mean, hey, there's some quality there. They got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in their top 100 for Fangraphs, and they're all due in the next 2 to 3 years. So I mean, hey, maybe in reality, like they'll take a little hit this year. I think they'll be bang average, above average, depending on how those other guys do. And then after that, you could become a player next year. And that's what I think they'll be. They'll be a huge player. They'll decide a lot of next year's free agency class. Because I feel
Yeah.
like our buddy James Cohen, Steve Cohen's not gonna be content with just being mediocre. Like he probably is like, all right, let's reset our books. Let's build the farm a little bit, get some competitive balance picks back, and we can do it.
They
got Jorge Lopez too. Oh man, we need to give some props to their offseason. Not gonna lie, they don't look that bad.
Their rotation is horrible.
I don't think it's horrible.
Quintana, Severino, Manaya, Hauser, Meagle. That's pretty bad.
It's bang average.
I worry about Senga. If Senga comes back healthy, firing, yes, it's a good rotation or a solid like average rotation.
The average right now,
if he's done, it's bad. It's bad.
The average, I don't think that's a problem. I think Severino had it. Like you can talk about Severino. Well, do you expect positive regression for Severino this year?
Yeah. He's only 30. I think he's gonna bounce back.
Like I'm saying, is there probably set the culture this year? I mean, the rotation's bang average. I'm just saying, it's just bang average. It's not going to wake me up, and it's not going to get me going, and it's not going to put me to sleep. So, like I said, their numbers 81.5.
And they went 75 and 87 last year.
And that's with how many months of Scherzer? That's with a month and a half and a month and a half of Verlander collectively.
Yeah. Well, did they start the season off injured? I don't remember.
I remember Verlander started injured because I remember he was their big offseason pickup pin. He was injured. He missed like the first 3-4 weeks. I don't remember Scherzer, but I mean Scherzer was not great at the start. We talked about how he was one of the guys that didn't adjust well to the pitch clock.
Yes.
I mean, look, and Kodai Senga didn't pitch great to start off either. So look, I'm gonna be honest. Give me the over on them at 81.5. Wow. I don't think they'll be as bad. I'm pretty surprised of how they look. I mean, Polar Bear Pete's playing for a contract. He might be in trade talks, and I feel like that's what's going to be their big storyline is what are they going to do with Pete? He's a Boris guy. I feel like if you move him, you can get a huge return. I think that would actually be smart of them because if you get rid of him, not say get rid of him in that bad sense, but if you trade him for prospects, because I feel he's a top 5 first baseman in the game right now. Maybe top 3, you can argue.
Yeah.
Or he might be the best one. He might be the best one, actually.
I mean, he's one of the best power bats in the game for sure. I think he's a lock. If he stays healthy, he's a lock to hit 40 home runs. So,
but I think he's the best first baseman in the game right now.
Bryce Harper.
Well, he just got converted, so I'm not putting him in there. He's a converted.
Freddie Freeman. Is he better than Freddie Freeman? No.
All right, no.
Matt Olson. Is he better than Matt Olson? No.
That's push. Depending on what you. If you will, I feel like Matt is different. I feel like Pete is more pure power. So yeah, give me like I said, I think it would be smart if you trade him. They trade him, get some prospects back, and I mean, they already have a good foundation, and they can go spend in free agency. Just load that farm system up.
We know they're going to be active in free agency next offseason, and they have a solid farm system now. They got some guys to trade at the deadline if they want to get more prospects back. But I'm going under 81.5. A little bit too much considering how good this division is. I think I'm feeling the under with the Mets, but I could see like an 84, 85 win season. But then again, they're pushing for the playoffs at that point, and I
don't think they can. I think they can push for a light wild card. I don't think they'll be that bad. I prefer their lineup more than San Francisco's lineup. And then I like their lineup more than the Cubs lineup. I like their lineup more than the Brewers lineup. I like their lineup more than the Cardinals. It could be a push.
What about Arizona, San Diego? What about those two?
Well, I'm biased with San Diego because I saw San Diego play. But it's just San Diego has thing is San Diego has star power. They have more star power, and here, like their other guys are probably top of the line, best in class. Like I feel like no contender would mind Brandon Nimmo, and no contender would mind a Sterling Marte.
Not last year's Starling Marte. He needs to bounce back.
So you're telling me that Sterling Marte wouldn't start on the Diamondbacks last year?
No, he's horrible last year.
But I feel like he's better defensively than anybody that they had in that outfield.
Not Alec Thomas and Corbin Carroll. No chance.
I'm talking more.
Alec Thomas is one of the better. Alec Thomas is one of the better defensive center fielders in the league. That's why he plays so much.
I know, but I feel like he pushes Alec Thomas.
Yeah, maybe because of the bat.
Not that bad, but I just feel like just defensively.
Nah, I disagree.
He has 2 gold gloves.
Yeah. I mean, Alec Thomas was 90, or he had a 6 outs above average last year. And Marte had a -6 outs above average. So,
well, he was
and Marte hit 248 with 5 home runs.
But I feel like they had a similar season like the Yankees, that everything just went wrong.
Everything went wrong, but I still think they're not that good. So 81.5 under. I don't trust the rotation.
You don't trust the rotation, but it's just like look at the rotation. It's not as bad as other rotations. Like they don't have a name, but it's not as bad as other rotations that we're talking about.
Yeah. Well, whatever. We disagree. I'm going under.
Severino's due for positive regression.
Huh?
Severino's due for positive regression. And Manaea, you're a believer in him.
I like Manaea. I've always liked Manaea since he's been on the A's. I like him. It's a good signing, but I'm just under. We disagree. Let's agree to disagree on this one.
And the bullpen's pretty good.
They got Edwin Diaz back, which is nice. Yeah, I'm going under.
Hopefully he doesn't celebrate.
I just feel like they can be sellers, and they get to the deadline and they stop trying to win. I mean, or they just stop winning games altogether.
I could just see them just be like, just be meddling and be like, it'd be great to get a return on Polar Bear Pete, reload the farm.
Yeah, exactly.
And go spend.
So then you'd have to win 82 games when you're doing all that.
But I think they can be. I think they can be 5 games over 500 by that time. 5 to 7 games over 500.
All right, we disagree.
And they're definitely better than the Nationals.
Yeah, I agree. They're better than the Nats. Let's move on, and I think they're better than this next team, the Marlins. Let's move on to the Marlins.
Let's talk about the hometown team.
So they had an interesting offseason. They lost a lot. They lost Jorge Soler, David Robertson, Matt Barnes, Jacob Stallings, Joey Wendell is gone, Gene Segura is gone, and they brought in not much. I mean, Tim Anderson to a 1-year deal, Christian Bethancourt, Vidal Brujan, and Nick Gordon via trade. Their lineup it was one of the better lineups in the league last year, 4th in average.
Wow, you forgot they got Vladimir Gutierrez.
Yeah, sorry.
You know him?
Free agent from Cincy, right?
Yeah, he's not bad. Obviously, he had surgery, but he's not bad.
Okay, yeah, he's not bad. They got Luis Arraez, batting title guy, Josh Bell, Jake Berger, Jazz Chisholm Jr., who had a very interesting podcast interview that I listened to yesterday and this morning, Tim Anderson, Jesus Sanchez, Evisciel Garcia, Brian De La Cruz, and Christian Bethancourt. On the bench, Nick Fortes, John Berti, who I like John Berti, Vidal Brujan, Nick Gordon. And then their rotation loses Sandy Alcantara this year with Tommy John surgery. Their star prospects, Edward Cabrera and Yuri Perez, are out right now. Yuri Perez has elbow soreness, and Edward Cabrera has a shoulder impingement. Braxton Garrett, their star young lefty, has shoulder soreness. So they have a lot of injuries. JT Chargois, their reliever, who I like, is hurt right now with neck discomfort. So right now the rotation is looking like Jesus Luzardo, AJ Puck, converted closer, both lefties, Trevor Rogers, another lefty, Ryan Weathers, and Brian Hoeing. Not great, not good. Their bullpen, Tanner Scott, Anthony Bender, Sixto Sanchez, who's looked better, Anthony Maldonado, and really no one else of note. Where do you want to start with this Marlins team? Do you want us to talk about the Jazz interview? Did you listen to it?
I did. I sent it to you.
I know. It was fascinating to me.
My thing is, I do feel like they did lose a lot with Soler. I feel like he's a power bat, but I feel like I expect a big year from Jake Berger. Jake Berger was one of the steals of the deadline. Like we got to talk about Jake Berger. Like, did you see his stats post deadline?
Give them to me.
Give me a sec. I'm trying to pull him up. Like he was crazy. He ended with 34 home runs and 540 plate appearances last year. Like he had a 97.8 average airborne velocity and a max exit velo of 118, which ranked 6th among qualified big leaguers.
Yeah,
like,
he was good. He was good.
He's going to be batting in Arraez and Josh Bell. I've always been liked his profile. They got TA bounced back. You know, I'm a Jazz defender. Hopefully he can learn how to get on base and not strike out and
stay healthy. So he did not practice in 2020, 2021, and 2022. He said it was the least fun he's had playing baseball because of the veterans that, wouldn't let him be himself and kind of try to bring him down for everything he did in being himself. He is authentically himself. I'll tell you that.
And that's a problem. I feel like you got to have a conducive environment. And that's happens in a lot of places in sports. I kind of feel like the environment you're in doesn't allow you to be. It's like, what culture does Miami have on their baseball team? They really don't. Because guys
they didn't. I think Jazz does a good job of explaining. Like Skip Schumacher did a really good job of coming in and changing that culture that was established under Don Mattingly, and I mean, he said he likes the guys there now. He used to hate the guys. Like he didn't talk to anybody on the team. It was literally him and himself. And he did not. He was the best player on the team in 2022. He was an all-star, and he did not talk to the rest of the team. And now they bring in Arraez, they bring in Josh Bell, they bring in Tim Anderson, they bring in his best friend Nick Gordon, and he says the culture is a lot better than what it was. So that's part of the reason I think that you saw them surprisingly make the playoffs last year.
I'm a Skip fan. I feel like he's the future manager of the Cardinals. If the Cardinals are smart enough to go get him, he was ex-Cardinal, and I kind of feel like the support system they have there. They also have John Jay, who's highly respected.
Another Cardinals guy.
Another Cardinals guy who is very respected and people love, and he's a local guy here in Miami, which also helps out. Like they're finally embracing the culture, and that's what's going on. Like I said, do I worry about their rotation? Yes, I do, because I feel like those are huge losses. I'm like Sandy last year wasn't great, but I mean, let's look at guys like Yuri Perez. You expected him to pitch this year, and now he has shoulder soreness. Then you also have Braxton Garrett, who was also great. Now he has shoulder soreness. It's very let's put it this way, it's very concerning. Because if they were healthy, between Sandy, Cabrera, Garrett, Perez, Puck, Rogers, Luzardo, that's 7 guys for 5 spots. You could be owning the deadline in the sense that they could be a team that's in contention, and you can see like them do a move like, oh, we're going to trade MLB for MLBer. I kind of feel that way. Because they have 7 respectable starters.
Yes, their rotation is good when fully healthy. It's great when fully healthy, honestly. Last year, they finished 8th in ERA amongst starters, 8th in Ks per 9, 8th in hits per 9. It was one of the better rotations in the league last year, but they were healthy for the most part. They didn't have Sandy. And now they're missing a lot of guys. They lost a lot of power with Soler. They lost a good reliever in David Robertson.
It's burger time, man.
Yeah, I like Arraez is great for average, like hitting for average, getting on base and stuff like that. But like
TA is a positive bounce back guy.
TA is definitely a positive regression or positive whatever.
My guy TA is going to do better. Then you also got Jazz, who's due if he can get on base. I'm not saying it's great, but it's it's like the Mets rotation. It's average.
It's better than the Mets rotation. It's better than the Mets rotation.
I'd say it's okay. I'm not a big Brian De La Cruz, Christian Betancourt, and Avisail Garcia. They've been not that great.
I'll be curious. Yeah, I'll be curious to see how AJ Puck does as a starter. Converted closer. That's interesting.
And then Sixto, Sixto's been in the top prospect list. He was the big pickup in the Real Muto trade. It's just sad because when you look at Miami baseball, they do a good job at developing talent. If they were to keep, all their guys, build a culture, they would legitimately be a contender for the World Series.
Yeah, and I just they didn't really do a ton to get better this offseason.
Mike Stanton, aka Giancarlo, Yelich, Jazz, Real Muto. What more do
they
you
traded
need?
They traded Zach Gallen. They traded Zach Gallen to get Jazz.
Yeah, but it's just like you rather have that than what more do you need?
Yeah. So the number for them is 78.5. 78.5.
And how much did they win last year?
84.
That's tight. Because I do like them winning, but I don't know if I like them at 78. Because I think there's 75-ish, 80-win team. It just depends what their other guys do. It's going to pay me. I love TA. We'll talk about him later, TA and Jazz. But give me the under. I think they'll be going to be right there, right close to there.
That's the right pick. I'm going under as well. This is a lock for me. I don't think there's any chance this team wins 79, 80 games. I think they're going to be sellers. This new front office is going to try to,
rebuild.
Yeah, rebuild again. Maybe move some of their star players, surprise us. I don't know. I'm not optimistic. A lot of injuries to that rotation. They lost Soler. They're, one of their few sources of power. I know Josh Bell and Berger are there, but they're not going to be able to replicate what Jorge Soler can do, in my opinion. That's just my prediction. So going under, I just don't see it with this team this year, unfortunately. But you get to go watch TA, so
they'll be a good .TV team.
Yeah, they'll be a fun .TV team for sure.
I'll definitely be going more.
I want to see a full season of Jazz Chisholm. Can he please stay healthy? Because if he stays healthy for an entire year, he can. I was going to say he can be an all-star. He's already been an all-star. I don't really think he said he wants to be MVP. I don't think he's. Well, I don't know. I don't want to write him off.
The bat has to. I think he can be MVP, but the bat has to get going.
Yeah.
And I think it'll really help that he had a full off season to learn center field more. He had one full year. Now this is the post year that he dude's a freak athlete.
Yeah, there's a lot of
you played center. You played center, and you can tell me he was making and this is from an untrained eye. I would see him make his routes to the ball, his paths used to be erratic. That he would be going the wrong way, false steps, but he got better at it. But he would just sometimes he'd look, oh my God, how did you do that? And other times oh man, that was awful. But more often than not, he was making incredible plays.
Yeah, he got much better at center field throughout the course of the season. So we're both under on the Marlins. Let's move on to the Philadelphia Phillies. The Phillies went 90-72 last year, lost in the National League Championship Series to the Arizona Diamondbacks in 7 games. Pretty quiet offseason. They lose Michael Lorenzen, who just signed with Texas. They lost Craig Kimbrell, lost Rhys Hoskins, but the big move was re-signing Aaron Nola to a 7-year deal. They're pretty much running out the same team, Schwarber, Trey Turner, Bryce Harper, JT Realmuto, Bryson Stott, Alec Boehm, Nick Castellanos, Brandon Marsh, Johan Rojas in center. Bench, they brought in Whit Merrifield, which I really like as kind of a utility player at age 35. Edmundo Sosa, Christian Pache, Garrett Stubbs. Rotation is, I put the rotation.
Pache. I like Pache.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Good defender. The only thing is with Pache, he has no bat. and he was one of the big pieces in one of the I think it was the Sean Murphy trade.
Yeah, I think so. Rotation, I put up with anybody in the league. Zach Wheeler, Aaron Nola, Ranger Suarez, Taijuan Walker, and Christopher Sanchez. Bullpen, solid again. Jose Alvarado as the closer. You got Gregory Soto, Jeff Hoffman, Sir Anthony Dominguez, Matt Strom, Connor Brogdon. They brought in Spencer Turnbull from Detroit. And yeah, I mean, it's really like pretty much the same team as last year. But I think, it's a team that was in the World Series in 22. It was a team that was on the precipice of going back to the World Series in 2023. They didn't lose anything massive. They re-signed their guy, Wheeler and Nola. I put those guys up against any 1-2 in the league. They have MVP candidates in Bryce Harper and Trey Turner. Kyle Schwarber, interesting leadoff guy, but he can hit 40 bombs. JT Realmuto is one of the best catchers in the league. I think Alec Baum is going to improve again.
I'm a Bryson Stott guy.
Yeah, Bryson Stott. I'm just really high on this team. It's all they got to do is get into the playoffs, and they get a few games at home, and it's just so tough to play there. I know Arizona won there, on the road to close it out, but it's a really tough place to play. And I'm scared of the Phillies. I like them a lot.
That's a Craig Kimbrell problem, but
yeah, that's true.
I like this team. I just kind of feel like we need more contact. That's the only thing. I kind of feel like, they could do way better by getting another outfield contact guy out there because, like I said, Schwarber's not your prototypical guy, and they have speed. I don't understand why don't you put Stott and Turner and just let your guys mash, like bring them in.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have elite hitters. Like Schwarber is great, but I mean, man, his average isn't that great. I mean, he'll get on base and walk, but you want to have speed. You want to like if I'm building a team, I want to create havoc on the base pass. Especially with these new rules, you want to have speed so, you can steal bases, get your guy to manufacture run and put him in scoring position. You want to do that. And Schwarber doesn't do that for me. I mean, it's all going to come down to, like, can Castellanos replicate? Like, I do like his player profile, but, he's kind of been hot and cold. 2 years ago, he was awful. Last year, he was good. Let's see if he can continue that. And, we want to see those Bryson Stott and Alec Bohm jumps. We want to continue to see those jumps to continue because we know the rotation is going to do work. I mean, Ranger Suarez, I feel he's a very unknown to fans. I feel like he's a great 3-4 guy, and Taijuan Walker is probably one of the best threes in the game right now. So, and like I said, their 1-2 stacks up against anybody's 1-2.
Yes,
they're probably top 5 rotation. They aren't as good as Seattle's. And please, for the love of God, don't ever say, who was it? Heyman that said that Snell and Webb are the best 1-2? Like, nah, man. No. Stop doing Boris Corp work, man. Like, please. And like their farm, like for as many trades that they have done, for example, the trades they have done, their farm's decent. They have Andrew Painter still, Mick Abel, and Justin Crawford, who is the son of Carl Crawford, who I'm a big fan of. He's coming up soon. So, like, yeah, I do enjoy that. They only lost Reese Hoskins, but really, did they lose Reese because he didn't even play a year? And it's kind of like, I don't think you're going to have Bryce Turner out there roaming the outfield at age 31 with his injury history. And, can he do it? Yeah. And he's one of those guys that's always up to the challenge. But I don't it's better just to conserve him, not get him hurt. It's 162.
Yeah.
And that's the big thing. And Craig Kimbrell, I think that's a benefit.
Probably.
He's positive. And Lorenzen, he was a mid-year pickup, which, I mean, it would have been nice to have him as a swing arm, but I kind of feel like he doesn't have that, I kind of feel like it's just like rules. I kind of feel like they didn't view him as the number 5 guy. They like Christopher Sanchez more, and they wanted another lefty in there. So kind of made more sense to just let him go.
For me, the Phillies, their season it's not about winning the division. They just got to get into the dance again. I think that's their
that's their deal. I feel like any team in the NL, I feel like if I'm the Dodgers, I fear for them. It's a team because they play with that mentality. They play with that Philadelphia mentality. They're dogs. They don't care who they play. They just play ball and they beat whoever's in front of them.
They've been together for a few years now, so there's some continuity there. The number is 89.5. I'll tell you right now, I'm going over. Barring a major injury to Wheeler or Nola or like Turner or Harper, I don't see any way this team doesn't win 90 games.
And Turner's due for positive regression as well. He didn't have that great of a year coming off the mega deal, but I feel like he's due to uptick. So give me the over.
Yeah, both over on that 89.5. Let's move on to the last team.
Do we have to talk about them?
The Atlanta Braves. They won 104 games last year. They had a relatively quiet offseason, you could say. They lost Eddie Rosario. They lost Jesse Chavez, Pierce Johnson, Kevin Pillar, and they brought in Jared Kelenic via trade with Seattle, who's having a horrible spring training. They brought in Adam Duvall. They brought in Chris Sale and Reynaldo Lopez.
And that's a big thing. I kind of feel like that Duvall is a very big. I was defending Kelenic, but I kind of feel like that's a big deal that they brought him in at this stage in the game. They brought him in like last week. Yeah, that's that's not a good sign for Kelenic. But if there's a team to fix a player, it's them. They can fix Kelenic. I mean, like I said, they did not miss a beat without the leader in Dansby Swanson, which was kind of weird seeing him in Cubs colors. But I mean, they were the hottest offense. They're probably the funnest .TV team. To me, they're the Warriors of Major League Baseball.
Yeah, they were first in average OVP, OPS, runs, and home runs. They were first in every major stat category hitting wise last year. There's a rotation that let them down.
Yeah, and and that's always been the deal. I mean, Fried's had his issues in the postseason. I still think Fried has ace qualities. Spencer Strider, I'm not going to speak, but we know what he has a curveball now. When that's scary for a guy that throws 100 to just pop out a curveball at 85 miles an hour. That velo change is crazy.
His Cy Young season is going to happen at some point,
and it'll just be interesting what happens at the back half of the pen. That's what I kind of feel like they'll be the biggest thing is who's going to close games. I mean, Raciel Iglesias is a decent closer, but he's not shut down.
Yeah,
so he's battled injury issues. So I kind of feel like that'll be the thing. And hopefully you can squeeze a little bit out of Sale, and we'll see how much Charlie Morton has in the tank. But look, if there's a team that we're just waiting to get over the hump, it's them with this core roster of Olsen and Murphy.
Yeah, so the new core, obviously they won.
Because remember when they won in 21, or was it 20?
21, yeah, sorry, 21.
When they won in 21, they didn't have Acuna, and they didn't have Olsen, and they didn't have Murphy. They had Swanson and Freddie. And they're gone. You got Austin Riley, who's older. We don't need to talk about him. I kind of feel like he's a defense. We are a defense league. We've been owned defense league shares. I feel like we are the.
I bought. I feel Austin like Riley is my pick. Austin Riley is my Bitcoin. I bought in on Austin Riley with his 5 cents a share, and now he's $100 a share. Like, I bought early on Austin Riley, and it paid out for sure. It wasn't like a super high prospect or anything.
Austin Riley is the epitome of when you get a Monopoly and you put the whole house, you put the hotel, and every time you land on it at the hotel, you play Monopoly.
Yeah.
And it's like, we started out with the house. We started out with owning it. We got the houses, and now we have the hotel. And now everyone's like, oh, that's a smart hotel you bought. Like, yeah, like it's good shares. But like I said, they're deep. They're gonna do a good job. And Brian Snitker is a really good manager. I said Bryce Elbert and Huascar Yanoa are there in the minors in case anything goes wrong. Like I said, their farm isn't as deep, but Anthopoulos will always pull something out of his sleeve just to like get somebody that need be. Like they traded Vaughn Grisham, which was out of left field for Chris Sale, but hey, they just operate in a way that they do things differently out there.
Yeah, I want to say I do think like the lineup might take a small step back. Like I don't know if they're going to be as electric as they were last season. Maybe you see like Matt Olson's not going to lead the league in home runs again. Michael Harris might have a bit of a sophomore slump. Azuna might not hit 40 home runs.
Wait. Michael Harris had the sophomore slump.
No, he was rookie of the year last year.
No, he wasn't. That was 2 years ago. He started off like garbage, and for the first 2 months, and then he went berserk. That's why Joe came out in third because
Oh, yeah.
him and Julio went like berserk in the second half.
Yep. Well, sorry, third year slump. Sorry, getting my years confused.
Let me ask you a question. What lineup scares you more, Dodgers or Braves?
It's still the Braves. I think the Braves have more depth. But watching that Soul Series, I was like, the Dodgers fall behind by like 5 runs, and like, this thing is not even close to being over.
Yeah, but the thing is, their pitching staff isn't that great. So
I honestly don't think Atlanta's is that great.
Okay, so let's just do this. Who do you have, Strider or Glasnow?
Strider.
Okay, Fried or Kershaw? Because I'm not going to do Yamamoto because
Fried.
We know. Sale or Yamamoto?
Yamamoto.
You're not going to take Chris Sale with how much MLB experience pitching in big games?
Not right. No.
Then are you going to take one of the Dodgers kids over Charlie Morton?
Yes.
You don't know a big game Charlie Morton. This dude pitched with a broken leg.
I'm just saying. I don't know. I worry about it a little bit.
And then Evan Phillips or Rafael Iglesias is a push.
Neither team is invincible, man.
I just feel more comfortable with the Braves pitching than the Dodgers. It would have been, and they were linked with Cease back in the winter. It would have been game over if they got Cease. If you could say Dylan Cease as your number 3 guy, and that's what they could need at the deadline, a number 3. The thing is, what's going to be available? Because when you look at those awful .TV teams, they don't have much pitching to offer. It's more utility, type things. Unless some team just ends up going really bad. Maybe the Mets put up Severino, but at that point, who would you rather have, Severino or Chris Sale or Charlie Morton as your number 3? At that point, I think they're just all the same. They're all in the category.
Yep. So the number is 101.5. Where are you going?
Oof.
It's a lot.
But they are good. They are as good as the Dodgers. And if we went over on the Dodgers, it's unfair for them not to go over. They're that good.
So you're over?
Yeah, I'm over. I like them. I like them a lot. I feel like they're a great team. I feel like the thing about them is just like, to be honest, I wouldn't care if they came in through the wild card. Because I kind of feel like they have these great regular seasons, and then at the end of the year, they just fall apart.
Yeah, I mean,
it's just like, I'd rather them win 93 and get in and have a deep run than do their yearly, win the division and then play Philadelphia or some team in the first round and lose. Because it's kind of like they always choke, and we don't want them to choke.
Yeah, you might be right. Getting that or not having that bye, that week off, might help them. Yeah, I'm going under. I just think it's high. I think it's high. I think there might be a little small regression from that lineup.
What would you do at the deadline if you were them?
Probably go out and get another arm for either the pen or like the third starter if Sale goes south or Morton's not working out because he's 40. Because you already saw they got Kelnick insurance with Duvall, like you said. So
who would you target?
I don't know. I can't think off the top of my head.
Because that's what I'm thinking just off the top of my head. Just the awful .TV teams. Colorado, there are frequent trade partners with Colorado.
But I like that reliever they have.
Yeah, but I don't know if you're going out and getting Herman Varquez or Antonio Sensatella when healthy.
Kentucky might be cooked here, man. They're down 6.
Oh God. Who else? Oakland doesn't have anybody other than that they're beating Kentucky right now.
Mason Miller? I don't know.
Who else? I'm just thinking on top of my head. Boston. You go back and call Boston doesn't have anything.
No.
Tampa doesn't have anything. Where Tampa's going to be in the mix unless Tampa's season goes south, which I then feel like you can call up Tampa for an Eflin, but at that point, you have to wonder if Eflin is legitimate a number 3, because remember the voodoo magic that they do, and
you have to account for the Tampa voodoo magic.
Tampa, Houston voodoo magic. They always do something, in their RPMs on their curveballs just go ridiculous. So,
all right.
so you're
I'm
under.
you're over. Yeah.
All right, so let's wrap the pod up. Hitter to watch, pitcher to watch, and your defense league.
Pitcher to watch is AJ Puck. I'm curious to see how he does in like a starting role now, which is like kind of fascinating. Hitter to watch. I mean, I know he's at a horrible spring training, but I'm going to say Jared Kelenic. If he can play to his potential, like that would be devastating for the bottom half of their lineup. Huge 3 for Kentucky.
Yeah.
I'm trying to wrap this pot up so we can watch the end of this thing. And then defense league, I got Austin Riley, because I bought shares when I was,
we
were still in college. Mets, defense league guys, no. No, just no. I don't like the Mets. They're not that good this year. Nationals, CJ Abrams, although I think there might be a little too much hype on him this year. Their farm system altogether, I'm all in on. Josiah Gray and Mackenzie Gore, I've always been in on. And I think that's it. Philly. I mean, the Phillies in general, but yeah, no one from Philly defense league wise.
All right, for me, hitter to watch. I'm very interested in Jazz always. Always interested in Jazz and Michael Harris. Like I said, I kind of feel like him and Ozuna are going to be the keys to watch. And then pitcher to watch, I'm generally interested into Chris Sale and Josiah Gray. Those are the 2 guys I'm watching to see how they turn up. On a lesser extent, I might be tuning in to watch some .TV games for Severino, see what he's up to.
Same. I think he can reclaim his value this year.
Mm-hmm. And then guys I'm defense league, easy money. I'm buying defense league shares into Berger, Chisholm, and TA. Obviously, we'll always defend those guys. Philadelphia, Alec Baum, and Bryson Stott. You guys, I'm really big a fan of. I've been on their trains, been like the profiles, and Mets, Harrison Bader. I do like Harrison Bader, and there's just nobody on the Nationals that I really do enjoy. And the Braves, we have Riley, and I do like Michael Harris. And that's pretty much it. There's not many things other there. Like I said, I've been a Michael Harris guy. Got him in his rookie year. I mean, the rich get richer. Let's put it that way.
Yep. Alrighty. That was fun. That was a lot. That's another loaded podcast, another loaded preview. You got anything else before we get out?
Bro, I think we're going to have 2 hours for the next one. So we have AL East. I feel like we already fought a lot. I feel like the next one, there's going to be way more discussion.
Yeah, and there's a lot going on in the sport outside of like our previews right now. So maybe we'll have some more updates as well. Man. I mean, we didn't even talk about the MLB PA falling apart at the seams.
There's so much going on that it's just like Jordan Montgomery also to the Yankees. Like we talked about it last night. That's like William said it best. The Yankees are hitting up their ex-girlfriend at 2 a.m. and be like, "You up?"
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. All right, let's get out of here. This game is 1-point game. All right, Kentucky game's really close, so we're going to go watch the end of that. Thank you all for listening to this episode. We appreciate you so much. And we'll catch you guys on the next episode. Peace out.